It's the NBA offseason, which means a ton of trades, contract extensions, and of course, free agency signings. Now, a lot of times, those off-season moves end up working out, but a lot of times they don't. Every year, big faces end up in new places, and each team hopes that that player is going to make a difference. So I'm about to remind you of 5 guys that got paid big time, but their teams, well, they did not get exactly what they paid for. So here are my top 5 worst NBA contracts of all time. Oh, and by the way, here's a hint. Each guy on my list happens to be a big man. Something up with these centers, they're just trash.
Play clock at 5, score 4 goals, 3, a 2 home run and 1.
At number 5, we're starting off with the 3rd best Curry in NBA history, Eddie Curry. So this one hits on a personal level because I grew up a diehard Knicks fan during the Eddie Curry era, and I wanted this man to prosper so badly. And it just didn't happen. So of course, my Knicks have a tendency of messing things up in the offseason and the regular season and the postseason. But Eddie Curry, he was the perfect example of how they fumbled the bag. Now, granted, he was unfortunately diagnosed with a heart condition in Chicago. His game lacked 2 major components, defense and rebounding. Definitely something you need when you're a 7-foot lottery pick. But that didn't prevent the Knicks from trading for him anyway. I remember this like it was yesterday. Gives me indigestion to this day. The contract, you might ask? 6 years, $60 million. Oh, and they gave up multiple first-round picks as well. His first year in New York was His second year in New York, he was a 20-point-per-night scorer, and it looked like that contract was going to pay off. The next season, he regressed yet again, back to 13 points per game, and then he played in just 10 total games the next 2 seasons. Yikes. He did suffer a knee injury, which I'll give him that, but there's no excuse showing up to training camp woefully out of shape. Safe to say the Knicks regret that contract. At number 4, who remembers Omer Asik? Omer was a serviceable backup big man for the Rockets, Pelicans, and Bulls. And people forget he started 1 full season in Houston and averaged a double-double. But nothing in his NBA career was worthy of what the Pelicans ended up paying him. Get this, Omer signed a 5-year, $58 million contract with $44 million guaranteed. What the f***? He went on to average a whopping 4 points and 6 boards for that season. He unfortunately missed 51 games the next season due to a medical condition, and then played a total of just 14 games the following year before getting traded back to Chicago. But yeah, safe to say the Pelicans for sure messed that one up. At number 3, I'm rolling with Bismack Biyombo. Sheesh. This one was bad. Now, Biyombo was a lottery pick in 2011 and had himself a pretty pedestrian-like career up until 2016 when he was a member of the Raptors. Biyombo had a very impressive postseason with the Raptors that season, and who doesn't remember when he pulled down 26 rebounds versus LeBron and the Cavs in the Eastern Conference Finals? Still a record to this day, still a record. So Bismack rode that wave and did exactly what any player in his shoes should have done, so I don't blame him for this. But he declined his player option, and then he became an unrestricted free agent. And the Magic, they came running with deep pockets. How deep? Try 4 years, $72 million. Bismack Biyombo, what? What the hell are you thinking, Orlando? And you have Nikola Vucevic, and you just traded for Serge Ibaka. What? You're good in that position. What are you doing? You did not need no Bismack Biyombo. With all due respect, I'm not trying to go in on the man, but $72 million over 4 years? What are you thinking? He's a serviceable big man, but not at that price. No, but it was worth it because in his first game with Orlando, Bismack poured in 2 points. The Magic fouled that one up big time, but must be nice to be Bismack Biyombo. At the number 2 spot, I got none other than the man, the myth, the legend himself, Timofey Mozgov. Now, real ones know, Mozgov was the poster child for getting postered. See what I did there? I mean, they literally called it getting Mozgoved for a period of time. I legit remember where I was to this day when I was sitting on the couch with my boys in college and we were watching Knicks versus Clippers, and Timofey Mozgov was a member of the Knicks, and a young Blake Griffin came down the lane after a pick and roll and just slammed it on Mozgov's head. That was before this was invented. But I love this celebration. Now, we could go in on Mozgov all day, but at the end of the day, who's gonna have the last laugh? Timofey himself. He made bank, bro. After 6 years in the league and posting backup center-like numbers at best, the Lakers thought it was a good idea to reward Timofey with the bag. Want to hear a free agency for the ages? Timofey Mozgov, 4 years, $64 million. Your boy Timofey. Now true, these were the rebuilding years post-Kobe Bryant, and yes, the Lakers needed an interior presence, but the brother barely played 2/3 of the season, averaged 7 points per game, and couldn't even block 1 shot per night, and the dude was 7-1. Pisses me off, what a waste. It wasn't that bad, but like, he was he was bad. Definitely one of the worst free agency signings in league history, let alone Lakers history. And my number one worst contract in NBA history goes to a guy that I personally love. I hate to do it to him, but Joakim Noah. Like I said, love you, Joakim, but I don't know how you finessed this one. Now, with all due respect, there was a time when Joakim Noah was one of the best centers in the league. Then he fell off due to the Bulls acquiring Pau Gasol and Nikola Mirotic, plus he had a shoulder injury. But somehow, someway, the Knicks thought it was a great idea to sign Noah to a 4-year, $72 million contract in 2016. I'm at a loss of words. Not only did they get a washed up Noah, but they got an injured Noah as well. Why are you signing for someone who's injured? That makes no sense. And they're past their prime. What are you doing? What are you doing? Noah's Knicks career could be best described in 3 words: injured, suspended, and benched. He played in just 53 games in 2 seasons and contributed next to nothing. But the big man still got paid. He played in just 53 games in 2 seasons and he had that knuckleball shot, if you remember. The contract is labeled by many as the worst signing in Knicks history, and it gets my vote for the worst of all time. So there you have it. There are my top 5 worst NBA contracts in NBA history. Let me know what you think. Do you agree with my list? Do you disagree? Let me know in the comments as per usual, but it's my list and it's not yours, and you don't have any say. So actually you do in the comments, but do your thing. My name is Brad Parker, and that's my top 5.